Hey friends, it's Nine Morrison from the Colorado Wedding Friendors, brought to you by WedLocks Bridal Hair and Makeup. And this week I am talking with a super awesome friend of mine, Miss Annaleisa Friednash from Meraki Wedding Photography. So this week, Annaleisa and I sat down and we had a little chat about her and her business. One of my favorite parts is that we really got into some of the nitty gritty of the differences between different wedding photographers, right? Most of us know like light and airy, dark and moody, but we kind of go into something a little deeper where we talk about documentary style, lifestyle, different kind of lifestyle photographies and portrait photographies, all that different kind of stuff. So let's head on in and let's see what Annaleisa has to tell us about Meraki wedding photography.
All right, so go ahead and tell us your name and tell us about your business.
My name is Annaleisa Friednash, and I'm the owner of Meraki Wedding Photography. So really tricky word for a lot of people to say as well. But Meraki is a Greek word that essentially means giving like a part of your soul and your heart into the work you do. And that was something that just resonated with me so quickly when I was searching for this business, because weddings and photographing love to me, it's odd, you do kind of give a piece of yourself into your work. I absolutely just love photographing couples. I got into the industry about 4 years ago and started Meraki a couple years ago, and I quickly just fell in love with weddings. It kind of felt like this drug on the wedding day of you're surrounded by so much love, you're surrounded by reunions and so much emotion and these once in a lifetime opportunities and moments. I just fell so quickly in love, and I kind of built my business not only around like creativity and artistry, but also just helping my couples relax and have fun, because you're a photographer, you're there with throughout the entire day more than any other vendor. So helping my couples just have fun, stay in the moment, I think is the best thing, because then I just get to capture all of that, which makes it so easy.
So, what would you say your photography style is?
So I would say from like more of an editing standpoint, or I guess, so I usually kind of describe my style as lifestyle photography. So there are kind of a few different styles of wedding photography that have been like coined in articles and random sources on the internet. There's kind of like documentary photography style, where it's very, very unposed, no direction. If there's a beer can in the middle of a shot, they're going to leave it there. And they're really not giving you posing direction, anything like that. They're just capturing everything as it's unfolding. And then there tend to be those more like editorial photographers who are really controlling the day. If there's that beer can in the way, they're like, I'm setting the scene and making everything perfect. So I think lifestyle photography is right in between those two things. I love to find myself kind of going between being a fly on the wall, being that documentary photographer in certain moments, especially for really emotional moments, really funny moments, anything where people are just really invested in the moment. We're capturing those candid, raw moments as they're unfolding. But at the same time, I have been on the opposite side of the camera, and I know how freaking uncomfortable it is when someone doesn't tell you what to do, like especially with your hands. There's just so,
Thank you.
yeah. I think it's so awkward. Like when people are just like, yeah, go. And I'm like, please, like I can pose myself, but please just tell me what to do. So I love to kind of have both. I love, especially for family formals, for couples photos, for bridal party photos, I love to give a ton of direction. And I just have fun with everyone. Like we're goofing off. Everyone feels like they can bring an idea to me if they have one. And we're having fun. So I'm definitely going to be the person to tell you if you have a hair tie on your wrist or if there's a beer can in the way. But at the same time, I want to capture those raw moments too. So really just trying to have fun. And then I'd say my editing style is I try and be as true to color as possible. I think people definitely bring in colors, elements that they're excited about for their wedding day, or just clothing for an engagement session or something. And so I try to be as close to that as possible, but I do feel like I've been kind of told I have like a warmth to my colors, and I've been told I have like a vintagey feel to it. So honestly, don't even know what that means, but I'm here for it. So I'd say that's a little bit just about style overall.
For sure. And I think like first off, your website is incredible, and like
Thank you.
I think there's so many photographers who've got like really great websites, but yours definitely stands out as far as like just really I get such a sense of your brand and who you are and what your style is. And I love that, like, honestly, like talking about like editorial versus lifestyle versus documentary and like all of that. I think that's such a great thing that I never really thought about as far as like different photography styles. Like you always hear photographers talk about like light and airy, dark and moody, and like just kind of pigeonhole themselves into these two categories when obviously we know there's a very large spectrum, but there's also a spectrum of like how you like to like how you're documenting things really. Like is it very staged, is it very organic? And you know, so I really like that you talk about that. I think that's a really great thing to bring up. And as far as like looking, and when couples are searching to really see like, all right, so you can kind of have a spectrum of those three, and where would you like your photographer to fall in?
I think that's so important too, because I do think a lot of people are just looking for an editing style when they're picking a photographer. And you might have someone that you absolutely like, their style is everything beyond what you could have imagined. But then you're getting in front of the camera and you're like, oh, they didn't help me feel really comfortable and confident or ourselves. Like sometimes people post too much, so you don't feel like you and your partner are being yourself. So I think it's so important to get an idea of what you're going to get into with the shooting style too.
Yeah, there's so much more than editing style, right?
Oh yeah.
Love that. That's as far as advice. What kind of advice do you give to brides? And it doesn't have to be photography related, but just wedding related.
I would say overall, I think everyone has budgets. Everyone has some limits in what they can spend on your wedding day. I would say figure out the vendors that are really important to you and make sure to prioritize them. There are some couples that photography might not be their priority, and that's okay. Florals might not be here. They might say, hey, I'm going to do my own hair and makeup to save money. I will say it's always really great when you can hire the vendors for everything. The professionals are always really good. But I was just going to say, prioritize those vendors that really matter to you. And I will say, obviously I'm biased as a photographer, but photography is the one piece of your wedding day you get to keep forever. Your hair is going to fall down the next day. Your florals are going to die that week. You're not going to have the soundtrack to your wedding forever and ever. So I would say the pictures are what you're going, and video are what you're going to keep for your whole life to remember that day. So I definitely say if you can, don't skimp. Also hire a professional, because I've had a lot of clients or people who've had relatives who had a wedding photographer who wasn't a professional, and those people don't have like backups of photos, and then they lose their photos. So yes, I will say if you can not skimp on photography, definitely try to, because you want someone who knows what they're doing, especially with backups.
For sure. I can't agree with that more. I've seen some really unfortunate things happen. I've been sent some really unfortunate photos that, you know, I'm like, gosh, your work was so great.
Yeah.
I had a photo of like,
isn't that devastating?
You showed off how great it was, right?
I know. Some people will skimp on some details that it's definitely like, oh, I think you might regret this down the road.
Yeah.
So, but budget is budget, and some people don't want to spend money on a wedding, and that's totally understandable.
So let's talk about, do you have any horror stories or cautionary tales, if you will? Names or anything.
I'm just quick brag, or maybe I'm like manifesting this for the future. I really have amazing couples. So overall, not my own couples, but when I started off second photographing for other photographers before I had my own business. And there was one wedding where the bride's sister was a planner, and so she planned like everything for this bride, everything was gorgeous, did a beautiful job. But they got these like the head table had this special linen that was coming in, and it came in the wrong color. And oh my God, it became the biggest blow up of all time. It was actually like a gorgeous, it ended up being like this pretty mauve color. It was kind of like a purpley, like neutrally purple, like dark purple. It was really beautiful. Um, I guess it was supposed to be like a champagne color or something. And the bride flipped and ended up saying some very just not good words to her sister, some throughout some names, and we were just like, what's happening? So I would say that's maybe the only one. Everything ended up being fine. I have no idea how they turned around from that. That was a horror story for sure.
One of our final questions. So what do you think sets you apart from other vendors in your category and other photographers?
I will say, I think there are a lot of really talented photographers out there. I think a lot of people can really nail editing and really nail like beautiful, beautiful photos. But I do think the best thing to keep in mind, and I think what hopefully sets me apart from other vendors who are photographers, is that I really think I've been told I'm really good at helping people, like no judgment zone, just feel really themselves, feel really comfortable, which is what you want with a photographer. So I think, because you really do need to feel at least comfortable around your photographer, if not like feeling really close and really warm to your photographer. So I think that's a really important one. I feel really comfortable and confident with the way that I do my business. And I think, again, I would say I'm going to shout out Hustle and Flow again, because that was such an amazing business workshop. But really, it just makes I'm very attentive, communicative. I try to get back to emails really quickly. And I try and create a customized experience for them and really be aware of who they are, what they want for their wedding day. And I think the way your photographer makes you feel is what's always going to set you apart. So I feel like I'm going to make them have a really fun freaking time and really help them stay present, really also helping their family and friends and everyone just have this incredible experience. I think that's hopefully what sets me apart. I also really like my photography style, but I'm biased, so.
But so our final question is always the same for everyone, and we even ask all of our brides this. Everyone who inquires is asked this question as well, and it's, what's your spirit animal or Patronus?
I always get told really lame spirit animals, but I'm kind of here for it. But my friends recently told me I'd be a golden retriever if I was one, and I do have a golden doodle, so I will accept that. I mean, that's like, they're loyal, they're protective, they're just unconditional lovers, and they're just goofs overall. I always used to say dolphins too, just because they're like smarter than you give them credit for. They're very intuitive. So I think like anything that's goofy and empathetic is on brand. What's yours?
My grandma Cheech.
Oh my God, I should have. We could say people. Could I say Meryl Streep? Because
Sure.
or like Jonathan Van Ness from Queer Eye.
I love Jonathan Van Ness. JVN's the best.
I just woke him up, so he's happy.
Whoa. Are you not being such a biter anymore?
He's definitely still a biter. He's gotten better though.
He's like, check that with Mike.
Can Raja and him become best friends?
Yeah, Raja, come here. Raj. Oh, you're the size of his eyeball.
Oh, he's so cute.
Awesome.
If she ever needs hair, he's got some to stay.
Go cuddle up with him, huh, Raji girl? She's out there.
This is best.
I know. I'm like, well, now that we have our dogs, I think it's time for our send-off. So it was so lovely having you, and I'm so glad we got to talk. I learned some really awesome things about you today. I'm like, if I didn't love you enough already. All right. Well, thank you so much, Annaleisa. Say bye to our friends. Goodbye. All right. Well, we will talk again soon. Bye, babe. Mwah.
Bye. Thanks again.
Of course.